welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're back with another Women of Horror Spotlight. Today I have with us, she's an author, and she has one of her most popular books. It's called The Women in the Woods. I have with us Sarah Q. McGrath. Sarah, welcome to the Horror Realm.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's a blast having you on. By the way, I got the chance to look at your website. You write some pretty freaky stuff.
Yeah, I try. So I've been writing for a really long time and only gotten into horror about in the last 6 or 7 years. I've always had a little dark side, but straight up horror only within the last few years, and I really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. So, yeah, having a good time.
That's always good. Listen, when you have a good time with horror, that's always a positive. Now, tell my audience a little bit about one of your most popular books, which is the Women in the Woods.
hmm Yeah, sure. So I've decided to try my hand at all the different genres, subgenres of horror. And so The Women in the Woods is a folk horror, which I really enjoy as a genre. It's kind of my favorite subgenre, I think. And I think at the time I wrote that book, Midsummer was really big, the movie.
Love that
And
movie.
I
Yeah.
I still haven't seen Midsummer because I was too afraid to watch it during the writing of that book. I thought it would influence me too much. So I haven't seen it, but I think that because everyone was talking about folk horror, I got kind of excited and I thought, I'm going to try my hand at this. So, The Women in the Woods is a dual timeline story focusing on a woman named Min, and she's hiking in the Appalachian Mountains with her son, Peter, and they get lost and they stumble across this village that seems friendly but kind of strange. And then, of course, as they stay, things get a little weird and weirder until they get dangerous and scary, right? So that's one timeline, is the present day. But then also interspersed with that is the story of Min a year earlier. And she's a teacher and she kind of has this strange interaction with a kind of scary student. And so the timeline of the past was actually inspired by the Satanic Panic, which is a love of mine. And so I tried to sort of weave together these two stories, one inspired by the Satanic Panic, one that's more of a folk horror. And as the story progresses towards its end, you realize that what happened a year ago is greatly impacting what's happening in the present. So I tried to tie
Wow.
everything together, and it was a lot of fun to write. And it seems to be my most popular book. People seem to pretty much enjoy that one. So yeah, it was fun to write.
So when you write a book like that, do you almost like do like a storyboard on how you're going to connect all these pieces together?
That's a great question. So I consider myself a pantser for the most part. I just tend to make stuff up as I go. And so when I was writing that book, no, I did not know where it was going to end up. I always have little ideas. And as I write, I might scribble down some notes and then, later on I'll write some more, but I don't plot them out, not before I write them. And that's worked really well for me until the current book that I'm working on, which I'm actually really struggling with. So it's kind of funny because my style has always worked, but you know, it can be a problem to be a pantser sometimes. So yeah, but
Now, now, is it hard as a writer? Because especially in horror, people are like coming up with new ideas, something new, something new. But like you were saying, is it hard not to just be watching something and get inspiration from your book or your story from another horror story?
yeah, so I'm inspired by so much. I am also an English teacher. I teach high school English, so I'm inspired by a lot of the classic literature that I teach. But this is maybe going to sound a little terrible. I don't actually read horror or watch
Really?
it. Not really. I mean, I've seen the classic horror movies like Jason and Michael Myers and all that, but I don't watch contemporary horror, and I've never read a Stephen King novel. And people are always surprised. So I am definitely influenced by things, but not necessarily by things in the horror world because I don't tend to really watch or read it. I read a lot of indie horror, to support my
Hmm.
community. But yeah, I actually decided I'm going on vacation in a week, and I'm going to bring Pet Cemetery because I thought I need to read a Stephen King
Sweet.
novel. So it's going to be my first one.
But,
Um,
but, but it's shocking. I mean, so this is somebody doing channel. I've interviewed a lot of horror filmmakers, indie horror authors, and I've run to quite a few who are not, I want to say horror fans, but they are not into horror. And I find it always interesting. Like, how do you jump into horror and not that really into horror?
Yeah, well, so I will say I've always enjoyed dark stuff. And so since I teach a lot of classic literature, like I love Poe and I love Dante's Inferno and Dracula, so the older stuff, I guess I should say I just don't, I'm not really into contemporary horror very much, but I like creepy. I've always liked ghost stories and, folk tales and things like that. So, yeah, but yeah, I don't know.
So right now, when it comes to indie horror, I mean, when it comes to filmmaking or even, writers, it's booming. I mean, everybody's a surge of horror creators out there. What is one thing that, if there's someone who's thinking about writing their first horror book or who has already written their first horror book, what are some things that you have done to be successful to get your audience and to get your niche?
Yeah, well, I'm still looking for it, frankly. I've been writing for 25 years, so a really long time. And I'm actually the novel I'm working on right now is my 27th or 28th. I've written a lot, and only within the past 2 years have I started to put my work out there. So I would just say to anybody that's trying to write a novel, hard, but really anything. I think in today's market, you have to market yourself. So I don't necessarily love putting myself out there on socials and trying to interact with readers, but I think it's actually an important thing to do is to kind of get your voice out there and just share a little bit of who you are. Like on my socials, I'll post quirky things and things about where I am in my writing and random poems. I'm also a poet. So I think that nowadays people have to put themselves out. That's sort of part of the deal if you want any sort of recognition. So that's been a huge change because 25 years ago when I was writing, I definitely, social media wasn't even around. I'm old, right? So,
Oh,
people weren't doing that. So it's a blessing and a curse. I love hate it really, but I think just trying to create an image and get yourself out there is important. And actually, if you're just starting out, my first foray into sharing my work was on Wattpad, which I know a lot of people look down on. I don't know, what Wattpad is?
really? Hmm.
It's just a platform where anybody can post their writing, and it's free. Anybody can read it, anybody can post, and there's a lot of fan fiction, a lot of romance, so it's definitely tailored towards certain genres. But I first started putting my horror just chapter by chapter on Wattpad and getting feedback from readers. And I met some really awesome indie horror writers, one who's a great friend now 2 years later. So just kind of putting my work out there and getting feedback was really an important step for me in gaining confidence. So get your work out there, I guess, is my advice.
And I think that's the hardest part for a lot of, especially I'm gonna say in the horror genre, because a lot of us are, and people in the horror genre, we're introverts,
Yeah.
and you kind of have to mold yourself into an extrovert. By the way, I'm an introvert, and I have a YouTube channel. I talk to people all the time, but
Right.
like, but I force myself to be an extrovert. Um, Even when I go to horror conventions and book festivals, I had to put my name out there and get subscribers and hey, check out my stuff.
Yeah.
And but that's something that's hard for a lot of horror creators because you do have that introvert side, but there's so much content out there now.
Yeah.
Even myself on a YouTube channel, there's billions of YouTube channels. So but you got to put yourself out there. And yes, you really do have to be your own marketing team.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it is hard. I'm an introvert too, which people always think is crazy because I'm a teacher, but it's very different. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was scared. I was scared to put my stuff out. And I think I've developed a tougher, thicker skin over the past few years. But part of that confidence came from getting feedback from other people and hearing that, hey, I like this. And I thought, oh, okay, it actually is okay, what I'm putting out there. And so that was kind of a nice first step was Wattpad for me. A lot of people make fun of it, but it helped me. So yeah. Yep.
Now, Sarah, what is one review that you've seen for one of your books that really sticks out in your mind? It stays with you. Whether it be good or bad, what's one review?
Yeah, so being an introvert and being a little shy, a little sensitive, I try not to read my reviews. I know I have some on Amazon. I don't look at Goodreads at all. So if I have stuff on Goodreads, I don't know. But people do sometimes send me their reviews. Just friends that might read my book or people that just want to share them. And I don't know if anyone in particular stands out. I think some of the ones I really enjoy are when people are just like, I didn't see it coming, when they just
Hmm.
express that you have no idea what's going to happen. That I love twists. I love it when my twist is hit, and so whenever a reviewer posts something about, you will have no idea where this book is taking you. You can't guess the ending, I always enjoy those. So, because I try hard on those twists. So, yeah, those are fun.
Reviews are always motivating, and that's why I tell anyone, if you read a book and you love it, if you enjoy it, definitely put a review because it helps the author. Um, it motivates the author, but it also helps because other people get to. That's the first thing I do when I purchase a book off of Amazon. I look at the reviews,
Sure.
and it's so important.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. And as a teacher, when I'm like, should I teach this book? I always look at the reviews too. Good and bad. I like to see all of it when I'm looking for a book for sure. So I do know that even though I'm a pretty thick-skinned author, I don't I don't want the negative in my mind. So if there are any bad reviews out there, I know some people are really great and they're like, I want to improve. So I want to know what I did wrong. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what I did wrong. I just want to I want to live in my little confident bubble that I'm, doing a great job and that keeps me happy. So, yeah. So if there are bad reviews, well, I wouldn't know. Hope not, but
Now you're working on your new book, which during a pre-interview you were telling me has been a struggle.
yeah.
What are some rituals that you have when it comes to writing? Like, do you have to go to a certain place in the house, or do you need peace and quiet? Do you need a glass of wine? Do you need music in the background? What are some things that help those creative juices flow?
Yeah, well, so I right now I'm on summer vacation, but being a teacher, I'm super busy during the year. So I don't really have a set time to write. I just kind of write a little bit here, a little bit there. I do set goals where I think I want to get a chapter out every 3 to 5 days. My chapters have to be about 10 pages. That's just my goals I set for myself. My house is also really busy. It's not at the moment, but it usually is very busy. So I don't have a lot of peace. I do like to get up early. So if I can catch, between 5 and 6 a.m., it's nice and dark and quiet. I do like that time of day. Sometimes I'll wear headphones just to kind of cancel out any other noise. But I don't really have any super strong requirements. I do like a glass of wine, though. I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I can get the creative juices flowing if I get a little stuck. So yeah,
Yeah.
I won't turn that down while I'm writing, or in the morning, a big old cup of coffee. So I do like to have my beverage. That's nice.
Rituals are great. Like I even had rituals before I even come on my for an interview. Like I did a quick review of who I'm interviewing, and then I drink. I don't drink soda throughout the day, but I always get like a cup of soda, and it just helps energize me and get me vibrant for the interview.
Yeah, gives you a little boost.
Yeah, because I mean we've all seen interviews where people are like, "Ugh," and I'm like, that's boring. Come on now, like put some energy into your interview. So
Oh yeah,
Mountain Dew, they're not a sponsor of mine, but they help me through my interviews.
that's a lot of caffeine, right? A lot of sugar. So yeah, that
Yes.
get me going too. Yep, yep.
All right, Sarah. So I do this with my guests every once in a while. I'm going to ask you three random fire questions. These are just your personal opinion.
Okay. About wait,
All right,
about what? Sorry.
just about horror in general.
Oh, just about horror. Um,
Yes,
like movies, books, all of it.
all of it. I'm gonna ask
Okay.
three different random questions.
Okay.
These are
Okay.
personal opinions, so Blue,
Okay.
don't
My
don't
opinions
worry.
about horror.
Yes. All right.
Um.
So like the first question I have for you is, what was the first horror movie that you saw that really scared the crap out of you?
Okay. Well, I'm old, so when I was a kid, the movie Poltergeist scared the crap out of me. I mean, for sure. And nowadays, it's so cheesy. It's like the special effects are. Actually, I still get scared by that movie. I think because I link it to my childhood, and the feelings I had as a kid. But I think I was in about fifth grade. I saw it at a sleepover, and it just terrified me. The whole thing was so freaky. And actually, one of my books is sort of I don't want to say it's based off of Poltergeist, but it has a poltergeist. It's about a lot of the vibes I tried to pull from that movie into the book. So it definitely affected me. And another one from when I was young was a sci-fi horror called The Event Horizon, which I also think is,
Oh,
you know,
great,
you
great
know what I'm
movie.
talking about. That
Yeah.
movie scared me too. I think it was the concept, like, didn't it, the ship went to hell and came back, or it was something just
Yeah.
really freaky. So
Hmm.
some of those sci-fi horror movies really terrify me. Um, you know, yeah.
Event Horizon is definitely a movie that doesn't get enough attention. I mean, it was probably one of the great horror movies. Lawrence Fishburne was in it, and the guy from not Jaws, Jurassic Park. I can't think of his name. Nilsson. I don't know.
Oh,
But
was it Adam Nelson maybe or something? I don't know. It's been a
I think
while
something
since
like
I've
that.
seen it.
Yeah, great movie, great movie. So if you haven't seen Event Horizon, definitely check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, Sarah, what's one horror movie that you've heard multiple people come to you and say, Sarah, one of your books resembles this movie?
I mean, if nobody comes to me and says anything, but if in the reviews that I've seen, people do liken Women in the Woods to Midsummer, I think because of the folk horror aspect. And then another book of mine, my personal favorite is a book called Dark Heart. And I've had some very high praise. A few people said it reminded them of Stephen King's It. I think because it's a small town horror where some kids have something happen and then have to come back and face it. I think it's got those vibes. But I consider that super high praise when someone compares me to. I know I'm not close to Stephen King, but I like when people see those little vibes in there. I'm like, oh, thanks. so there, yeah, nice compliments.
So that's some compliment. Now, and the final question for you is loosely based off horror. When it comes to writing, you don't have to name any names or say who. Have you ever killed off someone who? Have you ever put someone as a character that you personally know in a book and killed them all?
Oh, like I know them in real life.
Yes.
Um, no, I've not been vengeful enough toward anyone to do that. I do base some characters on real people. Usually nowadays, I just pull names. I used to pull real people into my books, but not my horror. But
Mhm.
if people say, recently I had someone say to me, I'd love to see my name in a book, a horror novel. And I said, great, I'll use it. So I took her name. She doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to tell her soon. She's in my book. So
Nice.
if people tell me, they want to see themselves, I'll do it. But that's a good idea. I don't feel too strongly toward anyone yet, but if I get some feelings that, I need to let out on somebody, I'll be putting
Hmm.
them in that book.
Because that's something I think I would do in a horror movie. I'm not saying I would name the person by the name, same character, but
Yeah.
they would have similar characteristics of somebody I personally know, or I
Hmm.
probably don't like. And instead of cursing them out in real life, I'm going to do bad things to them in my book.
It's a safe and legal.
Yep.
There you go. I definitely put a lot of things that make me angry into my books. Might not be people, but there are situations, events, ideas that I need to let it out. So yeah, a lot of that will go into my books for real. Yeah. So
All right, Sarah, where can everyone find you and your work?
I do have a website. It's pretty easy. It's just www.sqmcgrath.com. Q is my middle initial, so I like that Q in there because it's unique. I have a website, but it'll just lead you to Amazon to buy the books anyway. So really, all my stuff is on Amazon. I actually just joined the Kindle Unlimited program, so all my stuff is
Love
on
it.
there. And yeah, it's all available. So I'm also on socials, Facebook and Instagram. I post a lot of media related to my books, mostly on Instagram, but yeah, I try. So
Now, have you ever said that you brought the Kindle thing? I've noticed I've been reading more and more books on Kindle now, on Kindle Unlimited,
mhm.
than actual physical copies, which I used to love physical copies, but like they take up space.
Yeah.
Um, have you noticed when it comes to your sales, have you seen when it comes to your books, are more people going the digital route than the actual physical copy?
Well, so my sales are not super high. I think I just joined the Kindle Unlimited, and the first week of joining, I did see a lot of ebook sales. I will say prior to that, it was kind of even ebook and paperback. But I don't sell a lot. It'd be, a few here, a few there. But then once I joined Kindle on the KDP Select or whatever they call it, yeah, all of a sudden it was like 20, ebooks, in one day kind of thing. I'm like, oh wow. So yeah, I think now that I'm in that program, I think the ebooks will definitely sell more. Yeah, just kind of the way things are going. Yeah.
It's a great. I mean, it's a great concept even for like readers because you get to read as many books as you want, for one set price, and you can sample what you want to, what you like, and also you can also get to read new authors that and discover new authors that you probably wouldn't normally.
It's making me want to join. I don't even have a Kindle, but it makes me want to get on there and see what it's about. So
I
yeah.
love it. It's amazing. You should definitely do it.
Okay.
I
Well,
absolutely love it.
okay. Good endorsement.
So I say if be a sponsor of my show too,
Yeah,
but
Mountain Dew
we'll
and
see what
Kindle.
happens. Exactly. Well, listen, everyone, get over to Amazon and please look up SQ McGrath and grab The Women in the Woods and all of her books. Listen, she definitely has some creepy stuff on there. So if that's what you like, definitely grab it. And also support Women of Horror too, like I do, because,
Yeah.
there's a lot more women of horror authors on it, and I think that's fucking awesome. So
Yay.
definitely, let's support the Women of Horror. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to another edition of the Horror Realm. I'm Travis Bruce, and that's Sarah Q. McGrath. We'll see you next time. Take care.